Layer versus broiler, what makes them so different? At first glance, they may look almost the same. They are both chickens. They both hatch from eggs. They both have feathers, wings, 2 legs, and the same basic anatomy. But there is a major difference between them. Some chickens are bred primarily to produce eggs, while others are bred primarily to produce meat. These two types are commonly known as layers and broilers. So, what makes them different? And how can two chickens of the same species grow into such different birds? Let's take a closer look. What is a layer? A layer is a chicken bred and selected mainly for egg production. Over many generations, farmers and breeders selected chickens that produced more eggs, and their offspring were used for future generations. As a result, modern laying breeds and hybrids can be extremely efficient at producing eggs. Depending on the breed and management system, a good commercial layer can produce hundreds of eggs in a year. But producing an egg requires a lot of energy and nutrients. The chicken must continuously develop yolks, produce albumin, build the shell, and maintain her own body at the same time. That is why a layer's body is essentially optimized for a very different purpose from a broiler's body. What is a broiler? A broiler is a chicken bred primarily for meat production. The goal is very different. Instead of producing as many eggs as possible, breeders select birds that grow quickly, develop a large amount of muscle, and convert feed efficiently into body weight. Modern broilers can grow remarkably fast. A commercial broiler may reach its typical market weight in only several weeks, depending on genetics, nutrition, sex, and farming conditions. This is one of the most remarkable examples of selective breeding in modern animal agriculture. A chick that weighs only a small amount at hatch can become a much larger bird in a surprisingly short period of time. The first big difference, their purpose. The easiest way to understand the difference is to think about their biological and breeding goals. A layer is optimized for egg production. A broiler is optimized for meat production and rapid growth. This difference affects almost everything else. Their body shape is different. Their growth rate is different. Their feed requirements are different. And even the way they behave and move can be different. Growth rate. Now let's compare their growth. A layer grows relatively slowly during the early part of its life. The bird needs time to develop its skeleton and reproductive system before beginning regular egg production. A broiler, on the other hand, has been selected for rapid growth. Its body quickly develops muscle, particularly around the breast and legs. This means that if you compare a young layer and a modern broiler of the same age, the difference in body size can become obvious very quickly. The broiler may look much heavier and more muscular, while the layer tends to have a lighter and more athletic body. Body shape. Look closely at their bodies and you can often see the difference. Broilers generally have a broad body and a large breast area. Their bodies are designed to produce a high amount of meat in a relatively short period. Layers usually have a lighter frame and a body shape that is better suited to movement and long-term egg production. Their energy is not being directed toward rapid muscle growth in the same way as a broiler. This doesn't mean that every layer looks exactly the same, or every broiler looks identical. There are many breeds and commercial strains, but the general difference is easy to see. Feed and energy. Another important difference is how the birds use their feed. Every chicken needs energy, protein, vitamins, minerals, and water. But the nutritional goals can be very different. A growing broiler needs nutrients to support rapid body growth and muscle development. A laying hen needs nutrients to maintain her body while continuously producing eggs. And producing an eggshell requires a significant amount of calcium. This is why laying hens generally need diets formulated specifically for egg production. A balanced diet is essential for both types of chickens. What happens inside a laying hen? Now let's look at something fascinating. Inside a mature laying hen, the reproductive system is continuously preparing eggs. The yolk begins as an immature egg cell inside the ovary. As it develops, nutrients are deposited around it, creating the yolk we recognize. When the yolk is released from the ovary, it enters the oviduct. As it travels through the oviduct, different layers are added. The egg white, or albumin, is formed. Then the membranes are added. Finally, the shell is formed around the egg, mainly from calcium carbonate. After the process is complete, the hen lays the egg. And then the cycle begins again. It's an incredible biological process. But what about the chick? Here is an important point. A chicken can lay an egg without that egg developing into a chick. For a chick to develop, the egg must be fertilized. If a rooster has mated with the hen and fertilization has occurred, the egg can potentially develop into an embryo under the right incubation conditions. If the egg is not fertilized, it can still be a perfectly normal egg for human consumption, but it will not develop into a chick. So, egg production and chick production are two different things. From one egg to two very different chickens. Interestingly, both layers and broilers begin life in almost the same way. They start as tiny chicks. They hatch from eggs. They need warmth, water, appropriate nutrition, and protection. But their genetic instructions are different. Over generations, humans selected chickens for different characteristics. For layers, the focus was strongly placed on egg production. For broilers, the focus was strongly placed on rapid growth and meat production. And that long process of selective breeding created the specialized chickens we see today. Which one is better? So, which is better? A layer or a broiler? The answer depends entirely on the purpose. If your goal is to produce eggs, a layer is the obvious choice. If your goal is to produce meat efficiently, a broiler is designed for that purpose. They are not really competitors. They are specialists. One is specialized for producing eggs. The other is specialized for producing meat. Seedling from backyard chickens to modern poultry farming. You can see these differences not only on large commercial farms but also in backyard chicken keeping. Someone keeping a few chickens at home may choose laying hens because they want fresh eggs. Another farmer may raise broilers because their goal is meat production. And some people simply keep chickens because they enjoy watching them, caring for them, and learning about these fascinating animals. For a small backyard flock, choosing the right type of chicken can make a big difference. Final comparison. So let's summarize. Layers are primarily bred for egg production. They generally have lighter bodies, mature differently, and can produce hundreds of eggs during a productive laying period. Broilers are primarily bred for meat production. They are selected for rapid growth, efficient feed conversion, and greater muscle development. Both are chickens. Both begin as eggs. Both hatch as tiny chicks. But selective breeding has shaped them for completely different jobs. And that's what makes poultry so fascinating. A single species can be selectively bred over generations to develop such different characteristics. Ending. The next time you see a chicken, take a closer look. Is it built more like a layer? Or does it look like a broiler? Behind those feathers is a story of genetics, biology, nutrition, and thousands of years of human interaction with chickens. And this is just one part of the fascinating world of poultry. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about chickens, eggs, incubation, and rural life, subscribe to Village Oven and join us for the next journey. Thanks for watching.